Hey, brand babies, this is your ghetto country grandmother, and I am here with a new house guest. Y'all know how like to have people in my house and to entertain and all that good shit. So I have Paul. And Paul, am I saying it right when I say Warloski? Am I saying
You
that
are
right?
saying it
Oh
completely
shit,
correctly.
I'm cooking
No,
with gas
you are
today.
good. That doesn't usually happen on the first time, so nice work.
So yes, I am here with Paul, and Paul is all about simple endurance. And he's a cyclist and athlete and all these good things. But y'all know I know how to let my brand babies introduce themselves. So Paul, tell us who you are, what you're doing, how we gonna have this conversation today.
Well, I just really have one serious question before we get started. As a
Okay.
house guest, do I get barbecue sent to me as well? I'm hungry. I haven't had lunch yet. No, okay. So, my name is Paul Warloski, and I am a coach. I run Simple Endurance Coaching. That's my business, and I've been doing it for about 4 years. I was a middle school English teacher before that for 23 years. But I decided to retire early. I could see the writing on the wall about teaching, and I really wanted to help people. I have been helping coach people for decades, very informally, and I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted to get more serious about it. So I got my personal training license. I got my yoga certification, yoga instructor certification. I got a certification as a cycling coach, as a running coach, a nutrition. I got all the certifications, and not all of them, obviously, but and well, okay, that's me.
That's you.
I'll stop. I'll stop there. I, I have a
Like I
little
told
dog.
you enough shit. Let me move on. Let me move on.
Exactly. I
So
have a little
that
dog. I have a wife and a kid, and they're very supportive. My dog, especially, she's very supportive because she likes doing yoga with me.
oh wow. I know he told me earlier his dog is downward dog. That's not the dog's name though. That's not the dog's name.
No, we just call her Joy the Downward Dog.
So it's was it you wanting to help people or you just want to get away from the elementary kids that made you want to do this?
No, I wanted to. It was not the kids that I wanted to get away. The middle school kids are, I love them. They are just, I don't know, they're dumb and
They're
wonderful
little
and
assholes. That's what I'm gonna call them. I love them to pieces, but they little assholes.
they can be. But I tell you, I love those kids. That was not the issue. I love middle school kids. They teach you things that you don't expect, and there's no filter. They'll tell you
Yes.
things. I have been
Yeah.
told to fuck off more times by 12-year-olds than I've
Wow.
ever thought I would in the million years. But it's sometimes said with love, and
Yeah.
sometimes, I don't know. But no, I really wanted to. Um, 23 years is a long time for one career,
One thing.
and I had tried to kind of get out of teaching once before, but it drew me back, and I wanted to. Fundamentally, I'm still teaching. Fundamentally, I'm still teaching people how to train in order to reach their goals. I'm teaching
Mhm.
people how to move better for with yoga. Um, and so that's really the fundamental thing is I still
Yeah.
get to
So
teach people.
it wasn't that you wanted to kick the kids to the curb, but it's what because you wanted to step into this new thing.
Correct. I wanted to kick a couple principles at the curb, but not the kids. Yeah, there were some principles that like, bye-bye.
There you go. So tell me about your brand. What do you know and what do you think about your brand?
All right. So this is the deal. And I really want you um to go play in terms of your
Mhm.
thinking and your creativity. Because what I have realized is that you in your podcast talk about shiny object syndrome. And I am about as ADHD as they come, and I have just had, billions of ideas. Um, and I so simple endurance coaching is a coaching for, the niche that I have decided on is middle-aged age groupers, runners, cyclists, triathletes who are looking for some kind of adventure. They have some kind of bucket list. They want to accomplish something. They want to run a half marathon. They want to ride there's a big ride across Wisconsin here. They want to, do their first triathlon. There's something they want to accomplish. And what I do is create a program from them that involves endurance training, strength training, and yoga as kind of a triangle of health and fitness. And then we take that and we build programs based on that.
Okay.
And what my issue is with the branding piece is that I don't have one. There's a million, there's a million of us. There's a million coaches.
I just want to tell you, I'm listening to you, sweetie, but sometimes when people say stuff that strikes my ear, I start looking for a pen so I can start writing shit down so I don't forget to tell you what you triggered in me. But I don't see one in here, so I'll try and remember. Come on, come with it.
All right. So one of the things that I've, and you mentioned this earlier, is that I've kind of come up with a brand is awkward yoga. It's a little self-deprecating, but if you ever saw me do yoga, you would go, oh yeah, that's why he called it that way. Because I'm not a former dancer. I'm almost 60 and I am, I've broken a lot of bones. I'm awkward as hell when I'm doing yoga. Mm-hmm. And that is okay. And that's why I became a yoga instructor, because I didn't see any people that looked like me. I saw all, former dancers and gymnasts who could twist themselves into pretzels, and that's not my purpose as an instructor, and it's not the reason that I do yoga. So the awkward yoga is kind of a thing, even though it's a little negative.
That's okay. You hear my name, Ghetto Country. Come on now.
That's true. That's a little, that's a little same thing. So honestly, the rest of it, I don't know. I need to find some things to help me stand out a little bit. I didn't go to school for exercise science. I didn't go to school for, kinesiology. I'm not a scientist. I'm not I wasn't a former pro in cycling or anything else. I'm just a run-of-the-mill athlete who does what I can. So I need something to kind of unify. You were talking about my social media stuff that you were looking through. I need something to unify it. I need to have a kind of a single narrative of the stories that I tell, of the information I put out there, so that there is a brand identity for simple endurance coaching for me. And that's really what I'm looking for from you is, you talk about, niching down, you talk about having language that really connects with my audience. And I'm kind of stuck, honestly.
You're kind of stuck. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we talk about what is it that you think you want to grow into, do you plan to scale or do you just plan to stay a business of one? Tell me that first.
One of two. Both actually. I'm going to stay, as far as I know, I'm going to stay me as a coach, and that's just me. However, I do have some other products that I'm developing, some courses for yoga, strength, and for strength training for cyclists and runners that I do want to scale. Those I would love to see, that's passive income. And I would love to, let that grow.
But there's never going to be like a staff for simple endurance coaching.
I would be surprised. I'm not going to rule it out, but I would be surprised. Maybe.
Okay. So what you want to do is you want to grow in revenue. You don't necessarily want to scale, though, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My goal right now is to scale up the.
Give me some more money.
Yes, I would like to have more coaching clients.
Okay. All right. So since you've identified this audience, and we know that they are middle-aged, as you said. Mm-hmm. So if we're going to go into, like, if you become known as the awkward retiree or something to that effect, then what does that mean for how you do this thing? Because the thing that I when I talk to my clients about growing and scaling, let's talk about if you're going to grow or if you're going to scale. But either way, you have to understand that you need some sort of, especially as a business of one, you need a personal brand that's going to endorse the business brand. So if we start calling you the awkward athlete, that alliteration and that kind of leaning into that part, when people say, well, okay, what do you do awkwardly? Oh, I do yoga, I cycle, I do all the things. And so now you get to kind of build a narrative around that whole awkwardness.
I like it.
How you just decided that, you know what, excuse the language, but fuck the kids, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna be awkward. And you get to tell the story of the awkwardness of it all. And especially like what you just said, the broken bones and the not being certified, but still being awkwardly able to do this. And you get to tell that story and that journey of going through that transition and that thing. So it's like, okay, so now that we have this awkward athlete that has all these abilities, so like I said, you have all type of alliterations that you can put in this game for yourself. It's like, how do we get this into simple endurance? Simple endurance is kind of, for lack of a better, it's kind of boring for
It
what
is.
you want to do.
Yep.
So is it simple endurance, or is it, you know what, can we somehow take that awkwardness and put it into this business brand? Because now even saying something as average as run of the mill, that whole run of the mill speaks to the running that you do and the running training that you do. So it's like, you know what, I'm the run of the mill for middle-aged folks who want to be athletic, even if they're awkward. So you get to tell a whole story and build all these different things around it, so of how people can show up, because a lot of people won't do yoga because of they're afraid of looking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do look stupid all the time. Watch me do this pose. But you get you get to own your awkwardness and all of it. And because people now see that, you know what, it's not just me. And so even he's been doing this all these years and he still claims his awkwardness. You know what? I can walk through the door and say, you know what, I'm awkward, help me. I don't know
Well,
how to go
and
ahead,
if you ever
sweetie.
saw me dance, you would go, oh, okay, I get it. This guy, he wants to dance, but he can't because he's awkward. He's just all arms and legs. He looks
And
like
that,
a
and
guy
so
with
like I
short.
said, then you get to lean into all that awkwardness. You know what? I'm awkward all up and through. I'm awkward when I'm dance. I'm awkward when I do yoga. Hell, I'm probably awkward walking to get the mail.
Probably, yes.
But
That is funny.
it's a lovable part of you that you know what, he leans into this thing. And part of why some people have struggles of coming up with a personal brand is because they're afraid of that vulnerable side. It's like, sweetie, I'm just awkward. It's nothing, there's no shame, it's no shade in it. It just is what it is. It's just like when I talk to my clients about having brand ego. Brand ego is being able to stand in the awkwardness, to say, yes, I'm awkward. You want to be awkward with me? Come on, let's do this thing. Let's get you trained so that you can be awkward and still be in shape. How about that?
I like it.
A lot of people will shy away from trying to do these things because, like I say, they don't want to be embarrassed. Come on, I'm gonna stand next to you and we're gonna be embarrassed together. And you get to make them feel comfortable in this coaching situation, because why are you afraid? Come on, I'm gonna be awkward with you. If they laugh at both of us, because I'm gonna be right here with you. And you get to own that space with your clients. You know what? Let's go do some awkward shit. Keep laughing at me, Paul.
Oh, I'm just if you I teach some boot camps, and if you could see just how awkward I am even moving with that, I love this idea of leaning into it because
Yes,
it's reality and it's
it's
like
reality.
this is me, you know.
And then, like I say, depending on how personal you want to get with the personal brand of it, you could talk about awkward moments in relationships, awkward moments in grocery store interactions, because you get to anything that's awkward that you're willing to bring to the game. You don't have to go all of above and beyond, but say there's just 3 awkward things that you always do. I awkwardly shop. I awkwardly do yoga, and one other thing. And so whenever you have the opportunity to do that thing, you know what, let's go be awkward. We're going shopping this is the menu for the night. So you know what? I'm walking in the store and I'm getting my groceries. And then you might say something like, if you're recording at the time, you know what? You might point out the cashier. you know, she's not awkward like me. She's trying to act like she's not awkward. I know she has her thing. And it makes people laugh. See?
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
And you get to call out awkward moments. And it shows a level of humanity that, you know what, don't be ashamed of this, especially when you're getting older, because this is the time you should lean into it more. You get to own it because you should give less fucks at this point.
Ooh, I like that, giving less fucks. That's another part of being awkward, is that
Yes,
I don't care,
I don't
because
care.
I don't care. I have no fucks to give. And
Hey, and you can even, like, even if you extend your name, Simply Awkward Endurance. And the only reason I'm taking breaks because I see you taking notes.
oh, I'm taking a lot of notes, but that's good. Simply Awkward Endurance. You know, I'm not going to change the name because
No,
it's
I'm just saying, but you can just lean into that. You
yes,
know,
I
when we
can.
talk
Yeah.
about simple endurance, let's add the word awkward in there. So if you have simple awkward endurance, imagine how much better you would feel. Imagine how much better you would move. We're talking about an endurance game. And it's nothing to want to feel healthy. If you're feeling awkward about being healthy, there's something wrong with that. That's why it goes from simple awkward endurance to just fucking being simple endurance. Let's do that. So I've taken the awkwardness out of the simple endurance of it all. So you get, like I say, you get to make this whole thing around the fact that you own your awkwardness.
Yeah.
And it's like awkward conversations, awkward moments, awkward news. Ooh, there's some shady shit that happened. Let's look at this article. So you get to do any and everything with this. And like I said, you don't have to lean into every awkward thing on the planet, but pick the ones that you like to focus on. If one of your things is, like you said, awkward dancing, you have a love for music. So you know what? Let's look at what's going on in the music industry. This is an awkward ass fucking lyric right here. Come on now. I should not have said that.
Like, what was she thinking? Or
What was she thinking? Thank you. It's like, oh, I didn't know that.
I don't want to know that either.
I don't want to know that.
So I could use it because oftentimes when I do the boot camps too, I am, you know, the people are doing the work and there's some fun music coming on and I'm dancing to it. And it's like, oh yeah, that's just,
yeah.
They kind of laugh a little bit, but that's okay. But I could use that, you know, and
Yes.
that's something, okay.
Because like I say, there's these things when you're talking about being a personal brand, I don't want people jumping on trends. I'm not talking about doing the TikTok trends or the Instagram trends and all that kind of stuff, but it's your own personal thing. So if I'm choosing to be awkward, it's like, you know what? If I'm doing a thing, and say if you're doing a post that's difficult, instead of saying that it's difficult, you know what, this might be a little awkward for you because you have to turn and twist your body a certain way. So that's your serious side of being awkward, because you're explaining that this is not going to be comfortable. This is not going to feel natural. It'll feel a little awkward. So, but let's just take our time and get into this pose.
So how do you, when you talked about personal brand and business brand, how do those two work together?
The personal brand is the one that endorses the business brand. So when you're out here and you're being the awkward yoga person, or however you choose the awkward athlete, let's make it simple. When you're out here being the awkward athlete and you're doing some form of content. So when you decide that you're launching something or your next boot camp is coming up, the awkward athlete is endorsing this. You know what? When you come over here to Simple Endurance Coaching, we're going to do this, this, and this. When this boot camp comes around, we're going to do some awkward shit around getting our backs aligned or something like that. So it's you're endorsing, you're not pitching. So your personal brand is always endorsing the business in some shape, form, or fashion.
And I like what you just said about endorsing, not pitching.
Yes.
That's
because it's a lot more comfortable, because a lot of people have a hard time talking because they think they are their brand or their business. They have a hard time talking about it because they think they have to talk about themselves. No, I'm talking about this work we're doing. So when I say that we're going to go over here, when I tell you that I'm doing this awkward thing, or I'm out doing this grocery shopping video of my awkwardness of something, and then it's like, but in that whole thing, it's like, So one of the things that I do with my clients when we're talking about this whole awkward eating, then it's this, and this. So this is kind of what we talk about when you talk about simple endurance, the endurance of being able to eat healthy, because that lends itself to that. So see, you're endorsing. You didn't say nothing about come buy my shit. So it hits different. And it doesn't require you to say, oh, well, you got to sign up with me. No, I'm telling you, you got to sign up with my company. I'm the expert. My company is the vendor. That's the difference. How is that hitting for you? Because I see
I like that a
taking,
lot. Like what you just said, I'm the expert and my company is the vendor. My company is what
yes,
provides the services. That's how
yes,
that's so if I'm going to a bike race and talking about being the awkward athlete and I'm creating some content, maybe I'm talking to people, maybe my, just me getting on a bike is a little awkward. It's probably the one time I'm not awkward is when I'm pedaling. But even then probably, that is the content that I'm talking about is that and then I'm talking about how I train, how I eat, and all that is under the structure of
under the
being
structure.
awkward.
Yeah. And then the other thing you could do is like, send me your most awkward sports moment and I'll pick a favorite. So now you're getting people to engage with the whole awkwardness of it, and you're talking to other sports figures. If you decide to have somebody to do a conversation with, say if you're going on a podcast and they're interviewing you for something, it's like, okay, let's talk about your last awkward exercise. What did you do and how did it hurt? And so now, even though you're a guest, you're giving them advice on how to make that feel less awkward. So you're constantly, like I said, you're constantly being that personal brand of the awkward athlete. It's like, yeah, we do some stupid shit. It's not intentional. It's just awkward.
Just awkward.
It's just awkward.
And then I love that about what was your most recent awkward exercise? Why did it go wrong? And then I automatically have the opportunity to say, hey, you
Yes.
could have done it this way, and that may have
Yes.
helped.
And
Oh,
you're
that's
not
brilliant.
pitching. You're not pitching. You're not selling. You just say, this is a better way to do that. If you want to have a more of a conversation about it, go ahead and give me a call when you're ready.
So do I put that just call part at
Well,
like at the bottom of the thing?
it depends on what you want your call to action to be. It's like, you know what? If you want to know more, go subscribe to my website and you'll get the tips every month or every week or however often you put out a newsletter or something like that.
Yeah.
So now you got them from creating that brand awareness to now you're interested because you went and downloaded these things because you wanted the tips on how to be less awkward in this shit. So now that you've gotten them interested, now you nurture them with the content that you put out, whether it's you putting it out on social media or you're putting it on your website. And so as you nurture them in this interest, it's like, okay, now I got you interested. Now it's a different call to action. I went from telling you to, oh, this is the thing to be less awkward. If you want to know more, go subscribe to my website and get the newsletter. Now that they're getting the newsletter, in that newsletter, there's another call to action. You know what? Book a call or sign up for this or sign up for that, whatever you need that next conversation to be or that next call to action to be. Because the thing that you want to do and they call it funnel and everybody falls in your funnel at different places. I don't give a rat's ass how they tell you. It's never usually direct anymore because of social media.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is when they're in your funnel, wherever they fall, there needs to be a logical next step to what you want them to buy or what you want them to get. Okay. So if they fall in because of a conversation they have with you in the grocery store and you tell them go to my website, or either you just have a QR code where they can just screenshot and go to your website. So once they get there, go to my website and subscribe and you're going to get this. Or if it's something like, say, if you're on LinkedIn and you're hitting somebody up in the DM, it's like, you know what, let me go ahead and send you a link to this video that I did about that awkward thing. And now you're sending them and then like, if you want some more, then here's the thing for that you can go over here. So it depends on if you hunt, trap, or farm of how you get your sales. Okay. So do you need me to explain those right quick?
No,
Okay.
I've never heard that before, but that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense.
So if you go ahead,
Do
Sweet.
you have so you clearly are also an ideas person because you just like are popping out a billion of them. But do you, so for all those, you just talked about a QR code, a video, a bunch of different ways of approaching people.
Mm-hmm.
I just started thinking through, creating some content, and because I'm getting my website redesigned and it's going to be up soon. So I want to really start pushing things. Do you pick a few things to push, or
Yes.
do you have like a bench full of subs that you can throw in as you need to?
Are you talking about content wise or what I do as far as my offers?
Content wise.
Content wise, I pick like I'm all in on solopreneurship. I'm a big fan of that. I recently started stepping into personal branding as a form of self-care, because you should be able to stand in a place. Your personal brand should make you feel safe, comfortable, and confident. If you're not feeling that and you're feeling the imposter syndrome, then there's something wrong with your personal brand, and we need to check that out. So that's one of the things as well. But then it's also about, are we growing or are we scaling? Because that's two different approaches. If you're just trying to get to money, then your approach to money is different than your approach to scaling. Because now you're saying that you want to hire, you want to expand your reach, because as a business of one, you can only reach so many.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start to hire, now you can reach more. And plus it helps amplify the brand, especially if those people that work with you believe in the brand. So it's able to amplify and magnify the voice of it. But if you're going to say, like you said, you were going to step into doing courses, you now have to find a way that, what is this brand going to be like? How am I going to create brand awareness around the course versus brand awareness around the coaching? Because they require two different approaches. So like I said, if you get them, say we get them to have the conversation, and because of that, they now go subscribe to my site. Now they're getting the content, and so now I want to send them to the course. But if you decide that you're on a call, if you're in the middle of a sales call and they're saying like, well, I don't really have the money to invest right now. I really want to work with you. Do you have something else? Oh, then why don't you go take my course? It's this much and you still get this impact. And it's on demand. So you get to add value in that way. But the conversations are always about, what value are you bringing to the game? It's not about what it costs. It's about the value. I don't give a fuck what price tag you stick on it. If they don't see the value in it, they're not going to buy it regardless. So you get and that's what I said before about the logical next step. What is the logical next step? Do you want to send them to the course, or do you want to work one-on-one with this person? Because you might find somebody that you really vibe with. Oh, we should really work together. I don't want to send you to a course. I want to work with you personally. And now to work with you personally, because you only have so far to reach. I tell my clients, if you're a business of one, you got to charge enough, because you got to get paid to say no. So whoever you say no to, that person that's paying you got to pay for that. Because I took you on, I can't take them on. So that's why my price is this. That's how I do my business anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
So then so the content that you create and put it out on the socials, do you have a plan for what you do, or is it in response to other people, or how do you do that?
For me, it's becoming more strategic and having a marketing strategy. So it's no different than, say you decide that your campaign for the month of February, say if we were in the month of February, you decided your campaign for the month is going to be about love, because everybody's trying to get into Valentine's Day and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to say that the campaign for this is love. Now within that campaign, what different type of content can I put out for the week about love? It's like love the endurance. And so now all that week you're putting out marketing that equates to endurance, that leads back to the website. Then the next week is like love the cycling. Everything that you do is talk about the love of cycling. And then the call to action is get your ass back to the website. And because everything is about this is the campaign, this is the content, this is how I'm going to put it out here. So so I know what my call to actions are and what my small wins are, then I'm constantly saying, you know what, go over to the website, and you might even lead them to a specific link. Because I'm loving on you this week, how about you go check out this and see the awkward love in this? And so you're sending them to that thing to go check out, because that's what you're pushing for that particular week or that month. But if you know that it's leading up to something that you're launching, say like your boot camp is coming up, so then it might end with the call to action might be, if you want to get in on some of this real love, then you know what, go ahead and sign up for the boot camp. But you're creating all this content around that campaign leading up to that thing. Does that make sense?
It does. So you were talking about it. It sounds like you were engaging a lot, either online or in public, but mostly online. How do you navigate that? Is that something that you do every day?
Okay, it's just like my Sundays. I'm moving my Sunday. Excuse me. My Sundays are my video content days. So if I recorded all my videos on Saturday, then Sunday is the day that I'm using to edit them. So because my stuff normally drops on Wednesday. So then I give myself time to edit, time to put in the captions. Okay, I'm fucking tired. I ain't doing no more. So at least now I still got some time on Monday to finish out that. And so now I have all the videos that are going to drop this week around the self-care of personal branding. So that's already done. And then so because I know, like on TikTok, my best time to drop on TikTok is 9:00 at night. So that's when those will go out. But then on, say, Instagram, my best time is to drop it on at 7 p.m. because that's when I get the most engagement. On LinkedIn is just kind of funky. So I'm not really tied to a time zone with that one. And it's just a matter of who likes it and who has a bigger audience to get my shit seen. Because anybody with any real numbers that likes it, their audience is going to see it as well. So it's more geared towards that than it is a time or whatever. And if you have certain people that you want to comment on your thing, then maybe you actually tag them in this because you want them to see it. And if they like it now, it goes out to their 20 or 30 or 40,000 followers. Does that make sense?
Are you getting traffic on TikTok?
I am getting a little, but I'm still trying to embrace TikTok. But I tell anyone, like for you, a lot of people, because what I do is somewhat, it's not somewhat, it's just fucking intangible. And I don't have anything to show anyone. But the fact that you can actually show someone a pose and all of that kind of stuff, it hits different for you. It's like, you know what, let's do this awkward thing together. And so now you're doing a 1-minute video on a pose, and you, depending on if you want it to be shared, or if you just want it to be watched. If you want it to be shared, then more than likely you're trying to keep it under 60 seconds because then that means someone can stitch it or they can duet it. And so you can do a yoga pose, an awkward yoga pose, and say, duet this. And so now all of these people are duetting side by side with you, which leads traffic back to you. And because you're also calling out the audience that you want, you know what, if you're awkwardly elderly or something, and so now you calling on, like, come on, baby boomers, let's do this awkward thing. Let's show these youngsters how it's done. And so if you're calling out a certain crowd, and especially if you say if you're awkwardly retired, then get up off your ass and let's go do some shit. And so you get to be able to have this thing where you get them involved, and that's how you actually call them out. If this is your audience, sometimes you got to say them by name. You know what, if you over 60 and you still sitting on the couch, let me get you up and do this awkward thing. So you get to engage with them because they know you're talking to them. And it's like, there's a whole lot of 60-year-olds in the world. It's not just one. And so you're creating these opportunities. So that's your call to action. Get your ass up off the couch and do some awkward stretches, do some awkward yoga, do some awkwardness, get your ass up, you know, get your awkward ass up.
I'm getting up right now. Yeah.
But
you should have been a teacher.
But it's leaning into that whole thing that you want them to do. And those are still your call to actions. And then as you build that audience on TikTok, now you can go live. Maybe you decide that part of your strategy is once a week to go live and do 10 minutes of live yoga on TikTok. And it's like, if you want more, you could either tell them to go to the course or book a call with you. Or you tell them, excuse me, you tell them that the boot camp is coming up. So you get to guide that conversation, but you don't want to overwhelm them. Like, I got this, and this. I got these 10 things. Pick one. The more choices you give, the less they're going to interact with, the less somebody's going to take it. If you give them just one, this is the one thing I do. This is the one thing I'm famous for. This is the one thing I'm awkwardly showing up for yoga every fucking day. So if they know that, then they know why they're coming to you. It's not about yoga and goat yoga and all. No, it's just fucking yoga.
There's no fucking goats. They're cute, but I cannot imagine. My dog's a much pain in the ass when I'm trying to do yoga. She's like trying to get under me and on top of me. It's like I can't do yoga with the dog. I don't know.
But like I said, when you lean into that one thing that you want to be famous for, if you want to be famous for awkward yoga, then lean into the awkwardness of it all. And then, like I say, as you talk about it and you endorse it, it's like I'm the awkward athlete, but I make endurance simple. And so you get to that's how you start to endorse the whole simple endurance coaching. But you do it in a way that fits you and suits you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you don't have to change the name. You know what? I take the awkwardness out of simple endurance. It's not as hard as you think. It's just fucking awkward. That's all. Come on, we can do this.
I really like this. I just wrote down before you were saying that. I just wrote down Paul, the awkward athlete. But I'm Brinson. Yes, that's me. I like that. I think there's a lot to this.
I love it when
what's that?
I said I love it when I watch people's wheels turn.
Oh yeah, because you can see there's smoke coming out of my eyes. Yeah. It doesn't smell very good with the smoke, but I really like the idea about leaning into being awkward, and I really like the idea of creating content that in a way relates to that, so that to allow other people, like I'm awkward as hell and it's okay, and I still have fun on my bike and I still do yoga because I like it, and that's okay, and that's where and that's what. So get your ass off the couch or get your ass and let's go do a long ride.
Yeah.
You can do it.
And then the thing about it is that, you know what, you bring your stories into it because you can say, you know what, I was socially awkward today. Let me tell you about it. But then as you tell that story, it leans into, you know what, but when I'm never awkward, or when I'm awkward and comfortable, this was awkward and uncomfortable, but when I'm awkward and comfortable is when I'm doing my yoga. And this is what I show my clients. It's like, you can still be awkward and do yoga successfully. You can still be awkward and have simple endurance. And so that story just travels back into your business because you're endorsing it. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
So it's like you can take any socially awkward or any type of awkward moment and turn it into a story that leads back into, you know what, awkward yoga is a thing too, but it does not have to be a hard thing. It's simple endurance. So you get to lead everything back into simple endurance. It's not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. And especially when you're of a certain age.
I love it.
Did I get creative enough for you?
Oh, hell yes. This has been awesome. This is exactly what I needed, because I needed something to kind of unify all of this. And this is exactly, I am awkward, and so therefore this is gonna work. And
and like I said, it takes nothing from you. And the thing about it is, it's being able to lean into something that some people would be embarrassed about. So the fact that you're willing to put it out on Front Street just makes you more memorable, more likable, and just more relatable. So some people, like say, some people will never own their awkwardness. It's like, sweetie, do you really think we don't know that you pick your nose on occasion? I don't care how much money you got. You're gonna pick your nose, you're gonna pick your butt at some point. So, but this is me leaning into the fact that, yes, I know I'm awkward, but awkwardness does not stop me from getting off my ass into making sure that, you know what, let's live a healthier, we can be awkwardly healthy. And you get to own that whole space. Like, people keep talking about, well, what's your competition? I don't give a fuck about the competition.
No,
it does not matter, because all I'm trying to do is make my personal brand more attractive. It's not trying to compete with anybody. Go make your money, because who's for you is for you, and who's for me is for me. I'm not trying to compete. Only people that are trying to compete are corporations, and that's why they send you discounts and coupons and all that other kind of shit. They're competing to stay on top. Sweetie, I'm just trying to make my money and make some people healthier. That's all I'm here for. And you get to own that space. People keep reading red ocean and blue ocean. How about my blue ocean is I'm fucking awkward when I do yoga. That's as blue as you gonna get.
What I'm also liking is the potential to kind of skirt that line of not of appropriateness, but there's definitely a line that you can cross to be a little edgy with this. And
yes. And you get to decide, and that's the thing about branding as well. You get to set those boundaries. I was just on a call and I was letting them know the thing about branding, whether it's personal or business, is about the boundaries. If you're saying that these are the top 5 things for my personal brand and for my business brand, you know not to cross that line, but you also know not to let other people cross it. Don't disrespect my shit. So when I say I'm an awkward athlete, don't get that twisted like you can come in here and treat me any kind of way. My awkwardness is only my yoga. I will kick your fucking ass. No, I'm just
or at least I'm going to ride my bike really fast away from you and something. Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious.
Seriously about setting those boundaries of what it is. And especially, and it's about setting boundaries, but it's also about setting the trajectory of the gap you're trying to close. Because the whole process of what you're doing is branding. But once you're branded, now it's about nurturing, or it's about maturing to another level. Because now you're known as an awkward athlete. Maybe you have other awkward people that you license out to be other awkward athletes, because they've been coached by you, but now they want to do what you do. They don't want to start a business. They want to be up under you. So can you license out my shit? So now you have this thing where, again, passive income. And it's not about courses. It's about people that really want to engage with people, and they want to give them what you gave them. And so now your reach is expanding and your brand is growing. It is not about hiring employees. It's about, we're going to license out your shit. I'm a farm out clients to you as they come through me. So now I have a VA for hitting schedules. I have a VA that knows how to ask the right questions to send them to the right awkward person and all of that kind of stuff. Because you might have, because we're living in a world where people's like, I want representation. So you want a gay ass awkward person. You want a plus size awkward person. So now you get to license it out. It's like, I can be that thing, because now I see somebody that represents like I do. And so now I'm less awkward. I will go ahead and do some awkward shit in front of somebody that's like me. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily about just creating the courses, but it's about, can I license this shit out once I want to grow it?
Because this, my field is painfully white middle class men. And it would be awesome to be able to, expand that and get more people involved in it, because it gets a little boring to see everybody looking like me. And, we had this kind of amazing moment, and maybe you're going to edit this out, but my wife, and I went to I have a little studio, that I share with other people. We were just taking some pictures of me being awkward and doing some, some headshots.
Yeah.
And there must have been some kind of a church service where we're guessing Vietnamese or Cambodian, and they were coming by in all of these beautiful, beautiful coats and jackets, and the kids, and it's like, what an amazing display of color and identity that came with that. We just wanted to go out and talk to them. It's like, what's going on? Why is this? Because there were hundreds of people coming by, and it was such an amazing moment. And I suppose this relates. I've been thinking a lot about that, about how richer our lives can be with different perspectives and cultures getting into my coaching world, because I learn and I gain experience, and it's, I would love
Paul,
to have more.
Here's your other thing. Now you have awkward introductions.
Oh, that would have been perfect. Hi, I'm Paul. I'm going to ask you an awkward question.
Yes.
What's going on
It's
here?
because the awkwardness is, you know what? I'm doing this awkward introduction because I want to learn more about you and your culture. I see something that I appreciate. And the people who you're talking to, if they're not being a total dick about it, they will engage with you. And
Yeah.
now not only did you create content from the awkward introduction, but now you created content around, you know what, this is what awkwardness got me. I got to having a conversation with an amazing person, and I got to talk about an amazing thing. And you could even be doing this as a voiceover while you're showing yoga poses. So it's like you can still be doing your poses and showing people things, but you're telling a story of an awkward introduction and how this is enriching your life and how you're meeting new people. When you travel, you know what? I'm gonna do at least one awkward thing today. And here's what it is. Like I said, you get to lean into all of this awkwardness that everybody else is afraid of. And you put it under the guise of, you know what? I'm gonna do one awkward thing today. And so you're expanding your horizons, and people will start to like, I want to do an awkward thing. You get to embrace it. And you
This
get to
is
become the face of awkwardness.
this is brilliant because one of the things that I have planned is that I'm taking, I live in near Milwaukee, and there's this whole world of gravel bike racing that's happening where
Mm-hmm.
the big long races primarily on, I mean, seriously back roads. And so I'm doing a gravel tour as a way of promoting the business, but I will be doing a lot of traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a great idea because I've been thinking, like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
And that is brilliant. Checking into a hotel, talking to
Yeah.
the person at the front desk.
Yeah.
Where do I go to eat?
And
I
it's
love
and like I
it.
said, it's just there are just it's just a plethora of ways you can bring this into your brand. And like I say, you don't have to do every awkward thing, but like your thing could be awkward introductions, awkward moments, awkward dancing, and awkward yoga. It could be just those four.
Mhm.
And so you're usually looking for opportunities to step into that awkwardness, because awkward introductions, you can go anywhere in the world and be fucking awkward and have a, you know what, I just want to introduce myself. I'm the awkward athlete and I like to make awkward introductions. It's not awkward for you, it's awkward for me. So, and see what happens. Some people will tell you to fuck off, and the other people are like, ooh, what are we talking about? I'm awkward too. And you get people to embrace their own awkwardness instead of trying to fear it and hide it and all of those type of things.
I don't know if you can hear my dog. I think
I
she's
hear.
agreeing. She saw somebody outside. Now she's agreeing with me. She goes, yeah, that woman's brilliant. I agree. I agree, little dog. She is brilliant. Can you? Yeah, right. Right. And she's wagging her tail. She thinks so
Yeah,
too.
see? But is there's that's what you build your brand around, the awkwardness on
Hmm.
part of it, and let that shine through. And I promise you that is going to make you stand out. Even though you have simple endurance, like I say, it's the personal brand that's going to drive people to simple endurance.
No, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome.
Mm. What do you think, Joy? Should we, is there more? No? Is that enough for today? See, now you're not talking when I talk to you. Yeah, okay.
Oh, come
So,
on, Paul. No, what, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to thank you again because this has really been, this is exactly what I needed to unify things and then have, just a boatload of natural content that gets to come out of it,
Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, I think people are so busy trying to make sure they aren't offensive. Sweetie, it doesn't have to be offensive. It just has to be true to you.
Yeah.
That's all. And so the thing that fits you personally, and the thing that like I said, the first thing that caught my eye when I was reading your stuff is Paul's awkward yoga. And
Yeah.
okay, so why aren't you leaning into the awkwardness of it all? If
Yeah.
you can own it, and that's the first thing that you tell me, then this is what you should be owning. And to be an awkward athlete is an oxymoron or juxtaposition or whatever that people like, well, hell, how can you be awkward and be an athlete? Let me show you.
I'm really good at it. you know, I'm also thinking that I'm really awkward with like bike maintenance and, you know, and taking care of my bike, and which is really obviously an important investment in what I do, but I'm
Yeah.
terrible at it. And, you know, that's okay. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that might be another part of how I approach this. So
Yeah. And it's like you can add in your little bonuses here and there, but like I say, you don't have to oversaturate it. Just pick
mm-mm.
4 things that you want to own as far as what your awkwardness is concerned. Stuff that just kind of happens day to day. That, oh, this is about to be an awkward moment. Let me make sure I capture it. Because I know I'm going to the grocery store, you know what, this is gonna be awkward. Now when I tell my wife I put this in the cart, and she's gonna tell me take them, put that shit back on the shelf. It's not a fight, it's just an awkward moment.
Like, sorry, hon. Okay.
Okay.
This is really good. Thank you. This is a great hour of time. I appreciate your time and your energy.
No problem, sweetheart.
Awesome.
So tell people how they can find you and how they can work with you and all that good stuff. That's what you get to end this with.
All right. Well, you can reach me at simpleendurancecoaching.com, or you could send me an email at paulw@simpleendurancecoaching.com. I have I'm on all the socials, on Instagram at Simple Endurance, and Facebook and LinkedIn. And we're in the process of putting together a new website that should be out soon. That's going to be much more focused on getting people to sign up for a newsletter that I put out every week or so, about different ways of basically what older people are able to do, and people who are training who are similarly awkward. And that's going to be the new thing. So generally the website is the best place to get a hold of me, and email is also excellent.
Well, there you have it, folks. This is our house guest, Paul, and he's about to be really fucking awkward, and I love it. Y'all know I got shit to do, so we're gonna get on up out of here. So 5, bullshit happens, so suck it up. 4, your voice is important, so speak up. 3, you make the world a more beautiful place, so show up. 2, life is good, so buck up. And 1, I love you and ain't a damn thing you can do about it, so shut the fuck up. Peace and hair grease, y'all.